Okay, so in this episode we're going to go through installing a power system into the RAM. As you know, there are many different types of systems, brands and models out there. I've done a fair bit of research, and the one that suits my needs, hopefully it will suit my needs, is this one from KickAss. It's the Powerboss system. The reason why I went with this one, it's got a 40 amp DC charger, which means I can charge it from the alternator while driving along. I can charge it from the solar panel that sits above the rooftop tent, and you can also charge it via an AC adapter. So when we get to camp, if we happen to be at a caravan and park or whatever, then we can charge it via 240 volts. So there's a package deal that KickAss does, and this includes the Powerboss system. It also includes the alternator wiring kit, so that will be connected to the start battery. So that's a heavy duty cable that'll run in. We've also got the Powerboss connections kit. Now it comes with a number of cables, and it has a isolation switch. It comes with your connections for your battery. It comes with a couple of tools and some other things which we'll go through as we're mounting it. With the Powerboss kit, there's a couple of different sorts you can get. You can get the remote console, but I've just gone with the Bluetooth console. There's one where you can, I suppose if you had a caravan, you could put the Powerboss system inside the caravan in the cupboard and then come out remotely. But this one, we're just going to put this one next to the Powerboss where it's mounted, and you can connect via a Bluetooth app. What I also purchased separately to the Powerboss kit is the mini 12 volt control box. Now it has all your 12 volt sockets, your USB-A, USB-C, and some plugs, so that will be next to it, so I can interface into all my different 12 volt systems I'll be running. Alrighty, as part of the Powerboss kit, you also get this 230 amp hour lithium slimline battery. Now, I'm hoping that 230 amp hours will be enough for me. Like I'm going to run a fridge, I'm going to be charging camera equipment, and lighting and all that sort of good stuff. So I'm going to start with a 230, and if it's not enough, or we decide to have a few dark days while we're out on the trip, like raining and we're not moving, therefore might look at getting a second one. However, we'll start with one and see how we go. Now, lithium batteries are lighter than lead acid. However, with 230 amp hour, she's a little bit heavy. So when I mount it, which it does come with mounting brackets, and I'll be mounting it on the floor of the tub, so I won't have to keep it high up, so that'll be good for any corrugations. We don't want it to be falling off, so we'll stick that in as well. So should be a good system. So that's the Powerboss. It's all in one, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Okay, now I've given some thought of where I want to mount the Powerboss system, and I've come up with this location. And the reason for that is, when you're at camp and you want to gain access to your power system, you need to open your canopy. Now, if it was on the other side, when you've got the ladder in place to gain access to your tent up there, you wouldn't be able to open the door. So I'll mount it in here, and I'll put some framework in, and the idea is put framework in here, put a nice board with carpet on, mount the Powerboss on that, and then the battery will sit down behind, on the floor up against the front wall of the false floor, and with the fridge sitting behind it, it will gain access for the cabling, so all nice and easy. So we'll give that a go and we'll take you through how we do that. But yeah, it's pretty exciting. It should be a good system. So now I've finished the framework for the Powerboss system. What I did was I put a couple of angle brackets on, I put some risers, I used some aluminium angle at the top of the canopy to secure it to, and I've put a couple of face plates on to screw the backing board. I'm going to put a ply backing board with some carpet on it. So it's turned out quite well. It's very strong. I've used some 8mm bolts with the main structure, with some nuts with nylon inserts so they don't shake loose on the corrugations. So yeah, she's pretty strong. I'm going to mount the Powerboss system in the centre of the framework. The mounting holes will mount into the aluminium top and bottom, so that's how I've worked it out to make it strong. I'll use some self-tappers so I can actually put it on and take it off. I'll also mount the isolation switch, the battery isolation switch and fuse on the left hand side. It will fit nicely there. What I will have to do, however, is just do a little bit of reordering of the switch and fuse on the backing plate, just so the cables drop down nicely and they're not crossed over. And I'll also put the 12-volt mini control panel on the right hand side so we can get access to all the USB A, C and cigarette lighter type sockets. What I'm thinking of doing is putting a little shelf above the box, so if you want to charge a mobile phone you can just put on a little shelf above the power box and then run your cable to the socket to the phone, and that way the phones or whatever you're charging is going to be up away from the RAM box lid, so the lid can be opened and closed. The RAM box on this side is going to store a fair bit of stuff. So the next stage is to go and manufacture the board that will fit on that, and then start mounting the items onto the board. So yeah, alrighty, just added the board. So just put a couple of screws in, because once the Powerboss goes in, screwed onto the aluminium top and bottom that I showed earlier, then it's going to hold the board on. So just putting a heap of screws on the board, and then the Powerboss and all the equipment holding the board on. So it's held on with 3 screws, and yeah, nice and strong. So very happy with it so far. Powerboss time. Well, there you have it. One Powerboss system from KickAss. Absolutely incredible. It mounted how I wanted, sort of in the centre on the backing board. All the cables came up from the bottom, so it's nice and neat, and yeah, it just works. So it's basically got a 2 kVA inverter. We're going to use the inverter for induction cooking. We're going from gas to induction this trip, or these next lot of trips. It's got a 40 amp DC charger, so that's how it charges from the car batteries and the alternator. And it's also got a 40 amp MPPT charger, which is your solar panels, and we'll have some solar panels on the roof with the rooftop tent. I can monitor it via my Bluetooth app on my phone, and sort of you can set up some settings there, as well as seeing what's going on, seeing if the alternator's charging, see if the solar's charging and things like that, see the state of charge for the batteries. Now you can see the state of charge at the moment, it's 98%, so that's just been charging while I've been running around. I've used the mini controller here, so at the moment I'm using the cigarette lighter socket, which is connecting to the strip lights that I've put up. They're a tri-colour, so you've got white, you've got red, and you've got blue. So white's good for seeing things at night. The red is good for bugs. Apparently red is the best for bugs. There's orange, but apparently red is better for not attracting bugs. And blue, well, it is a marine grade light, so but I think the blue will just look nice at night, playing a bit of music, and yeah, a bit of sexy looking blue. I've got a couple of other cigarette lighter sockets that I can use, and one will probably be used for the Starlink system. There's two Anderson style sockets, and I've used one to plug in for our feed to the fridge, so that's all ready to go. There's the earth wire connection, which is very important. That needs to go to the chassis of the car. It works on an MEN system, main earthing neutral, I believe, and basically it allows the system to have a earth leakage circuit breaker that monitors for the inverter output. So as we know, AC, like your 240 volts, is very dangerous, life-threatening if you get hit by it. So because you've got a 2 kVA output of AC, earthing is very important. So make sure when you connect your systems up, if you've got an inverter, make sure you've got an earth, so you can it will trip if you touch the wire. There's a isolator switch here for the batteries, so you can isolate the whole system by when the car's turned off, or when the batteries are isolated, so it shuts it down. Now with the feed from the main start battery, what I've done is the RAM uses a smart alternator, so it adjusts the output, the amperage output. I believe this one is about 240 amps. It comes standard in the Australian RAMs, and that's far above what we need to keep this thing charged. However, there's also a blue wire that goes to a positive output when the ignition's on, so it knows that the car is turned on and it doesn't drain your start battery. However, what I've done just as a precaution, and because I've got one, I have a red arc isolator, so it's more for the Anderson plug on the back of the car for when I'm towing the caravan feed. I'm using an output from it to isolate from the alternator, so I don't accidentally somehow discharge the start battery when you're back in nowhere. Now, speaking of batteries, we started the kit with one 230 amp hour lithium battery. However, as I've been installing it and looking at what we're going to do with this, and knowing now that we're going to use induction cooking, we've decided to upgrade to a second 230 amp hour lithium battery. So that gives us 460 amp hours of storage, hopefully more than I need. Having said that, the problem when you've got a lot of battery, you need a lot of solar panels to charge those batteries back up once they get low. The alternator, I've found, driving, charges about 10% of the batteries every hour. So each hour goes from 70, 80, 90, 100. So if you get down low and you're only driving a little bit, then you're going to rely on your solar to charge. The rooftop tent does come with a 230 or 250 watt solar panel, so I'll probably be adding a second one. I'm thinking about another 200 watt portable solar panel, so we can put it out in the sun in case we've got the car in the shade of trees, but not under a tree. Don't ever camp under a tree, especially a gum tree. They drop limbs without notice, and they can do bad things to tents when you're lying there. They can do bad things to your body too. So don't ever camp under a tree, please. So yeah, it's very happy. All contained in one unit. Very simple, very clean, very neat. Allows the wiring to come into one point and not sort of distributed all over the place. We'll see how it goes in the back of nowhere, but at this stage it is pretty happy with it. So yeah, that's the KickAss Powerboss system. Pretty good. Anyway guys, I hope this has helped you in setting up your power system, and just get out there, as they say. Whatever you have, just get out there and enjoy life. Thanks guys for watching.